play, is it?
Sort it out. Right, you're listening to BBC Non-League Football Show. Now, we often get requests to feature clubs up and down the country, which we love. So whatever the club, whatever the league, get in touch. And when journalist Jamie Harris suggested he catch up with his local team, Merthyr Tydfil, we jumped at the chance to send him along. Here's what happened when Jamie went down to Merthyr.
So I'm here at Pendarren Park on a cold Saturday morning. The place is bustling with people. I'm in Merthyr Tydfil, at the historic home of Merthyr Town FC. I've been speaking to many people involved who have helped me piece together this absorbing story.
My name is John Strand. I'm the secretary of the Merthyr Town FC Society.
Steve Rees, bar manager.
I'm Les Wells.
Mark Evans, I'm now the community sort of officer for the club now.
Richard Bennett, run the unofficial supporters club.
Danny Carter, and I'm assistant manager to Gary Shepherd.
Jamie Mack, and I am the club secretary.
Lee Harton, centre half. Steve Williams, right back, centre half.
Russell Jones, I'm the sports therapist at the club.
Some people call me Neil Legate.
Phil Evans, part of the supporters trust.
Les Barlow, director of football.
Everyone involved have different memories of a team with an illustrious past.
Winning the Welsh Cup. We won the Southern League, Midland Division, the Premier Division, consecutive seasons. And we had 6 great years in the conference.
Probably when we played Atalanta in the European Cup Winners' Cup.
Recently, it's got to be Atalanta.
Beating Atalanta.
The John Charles era.
Yeah.
Oh, dear me. He was a character. My most important, cherished memory was saving the club.
The recent past, however, saw the Martyrs go through some worrying times, where they faced administration and liquidation. The most daunting thought is that the struggles faced were visible on the horizon.
And mostly, it's always been one of strife of financial difficulties, living day by day, really.
We knew that there were things up, yes, definitely. I mean, we sort of had a rough idea as to what the wage bill was, and we knew how many people would come in, and, it didn't take a genius to work out that, I suppose, that the money coming in was going to be a lot less than the money going out.
All involved here have told me why they feel the club fell so drastically.
It was the fact of having the players that went unpaid for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they were still back then in the Southern League travelling 3-4 hours down the road, to play a game.
The club went from bad to worse because there was obviously a considerable debt that was building. Eventually that came to a head and it went into administration.
For a couple of seasons we were having problems with wages and people come in and go in very quickly, which is always a sign of an unsettled ship.
They built up such large debts that it was at some point or other they were going to stop paying the bills.
People pull the plug on what they're putting into a club and everything collapses, unfortunately.
The Supporters Trust was set up 8 years ago and their work is widely recognised. It's seen as a linchpin in the club's rebirth.
The club is run now by the fans, by people who care.
The trust is the fans.
And they spent 4.5 to 5 years raising money, building up funds for the day when perhaps those funds were needed.
But the one that probably the shining light that sticks out for me is our secretary, John Strand. He is the glue that sticks everything together.
We've got a grant now of European funding through the local authority to spend 50,000 on the most serious aspects of the infrastructure.
The trust was capable of running a football club, and I can only say I've been thoroughly amazed. The club is run better than any time I've ever known.
In their first season back at Merthyr Town FC, legal issues meant they couldn't play at Pendarren. All of a sudden, there was a race against time to find a home ground. Luckily, though, that issue was resolved thanks to their friends down the road.
And quite honestly, I know for a fact we were 48 hours from closing, and luckily Tass Wells stepped in and agreed that we could use their facilities, i.e. the ground.
A big thank you to Tasswell too, because if it hadn't been for them, we may not be here.
We'll always be grateful to them for that.
It is quite clear from just spending a day here in Merthyr that this quintessential club are epitomised by the community spirit that echoes through the stands and through the town, and many believe that without their monumental support, Merthyr wouldn't have a club today.
This is the football town, always has been. Got a taxi up. First thing the taxi driver said to me, what's the score? What's going on? There's a great affection in the town for the club. I mean, as you can tell from the crowd today, 400 people on a cold November afternoon. It's fantastic. At the moment, look around the ground, there's about 50, 60 volunteers working today.
There is nobody here unless they're interested in football. Without the fans, there would be no football club. Without any question, there would be no football club.
Definitely, they've been a 12th man for us every week, home and away.
There's a lot of goodwill in the town towards the club.
The loyalty from the boys of this club has been the best I've seen or best I've ever heard of. So
many clubs have gone through similar struggles in the past, and there is no question that we will see it happen again in the future. shoestring budgets typify what football at this level is about. A football club is a fragile thing, and rebuilding a club from its ashes is an uphill battle. I asked people involved here what advice they would give for rebuilding a club, and it's fair to say there was a common theme.
Stick together, be strong. It's your club, you fight for it, don't leave it dead.
People have to stay strong, stay united as well. That's the key.
We always said the answer for any football club, for me, through experience, is never to be owned by one person, but to be owned by a body of people.
Prepare for it now, as it were. If they think their club is, not run by a long-term benefactor.
You need a good core of volunteers. Communication with the fans is important as well.
If you stick together, the supporters can see if you're sticking together, and they'll come behind you.
I'd always have a football trust involved.
And plenty of understanding about the costs of keeping a place of this size open.
We got that sign on the stairs that says we own our football club. That's the best possible scenario for anybody.
It's been a difficult time for the Martyrs, there's no question about that. But the club have seen the light at the end of this winding tunnel, and everyone here are progressing with renewed but cautious optimism.
That was Jamie Harris, who spent some time down even at Merthyr Town Football Club. You got a real sense from that, Dave Waters, about just the character of the volunteers, the fans behind the club, and those that really keep clubs going at the root of it, really.
Yeah, and Merthyr Tidville, as they then were, it's no surprise that the club reformed, because I remember when...
fantastic sport.
That sad newspaper I used to have, Non-League Today, we did loads of coverage on it at the time when they were going down, and there's some brilliant people there. And, yeah, I'm just looking at the league table, actually. With the games in hand, they could be top of the Western League as well. So, they're doing well on the field. Obviously, the town's behind them. No, it's a nice story.
Well, thanks to everyone at Merthyr Town Football Club for letting us come down and for letting Jamie come down and talk to you as well. If you're a budding journalist and would like to